What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
Yeah, if building consumer trust is the key to social media, and Doug, is that the key to social media?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
In fact, almost everything we do, from content strategies to social, is we're trying to eliminate the angst that people have on making that purchase decision, or
trying to diffuse that. That's right.
Building that partnership with a company.
Well, we've got an article from Chad Warren of Adobe Digital Marketing Blog. It's a great resource if you ever come across it. They got some great content. It really kind of got our gears whirling about over at Site Strategics. So let's get into it real quick. As if pressure from your boss, who's already questioning what his investments in social media are really getting him, right? If that wasn't enough, Forrester had to go and do some research and drop a serious dose of reality on everybody's golden goose.
Yeah.
Surveying 58,000 online consumers in the U.S., Forrester found that only 15% of consumers trust posts by companies on social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter. How about them apples?
Yeah.
That's well articulated there, Doug.
Well, it's one of those things that if I asked someone on the street and I said, "Hey, if this company, promoted something on Facebook, would you trust them?" Most of them would say no.
Right.
So it's not really it's not really
skewed. We hate surveys.
It is skewed, and that's it. If they were to ask the question of like if they had a relationship with a brand, so name one of your companies that's doing well.
Surface Solutions is doing good.
So if they ask a customer of Surface Solutions, do you trust these guys online? What would the person say? Yes,
of course,
absolutely. I trust. I really like reading their Facebook.
Right.
And so that's why it's skewed. Is a pure stranger? No, but that's why you have to take the time. That's why it takes momentum to build that
and engagement. So I mean, the point is that I think what was getting tapped into is that the perspective of people in social media see companies that do it just for the sake of doing it, just they're just filling in a gap, and they understand because consumers are more attuned to things inside of social media. They know their role now,
right?
And they're seeing some just chaff being thrown out there as opposed to true engagement. You know what I'm saying?
A strategy. Right?
Absolutely.
I guess on the plus side, though, on the plus side, that too. But on the plus side of this is, we're always talking to people about that these things take time, and it's not because we're trying to lengthen contracts or anything like that. It's that literally it does take time for someone to change their mind. It does take time for someone to start accepting you, liking you, and then ultimately trusting you. And so that's there's a message in this, it's that, and that's that this, if you go post something out on Facebook, like you said, no, nobody's going to trust you. But if you work at this for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, now all of a sudden you have that community.
It's just like anything else, consistency. If you see an action of a person on the street and you have no context, you really don't know what's going on.
Right.
But if you see a consistent series of behaviors from that person, and thusly that company, you can learn of how they're delivering their content, that they're truly interested in the consumer engagement. They had another fact out there that part of the survey was that 70% of those surveyed said that recommendations from friends and family are the most trustworthy. Well, that's pretty telling there.
But what's funny about that is we've also seen other surveys though that say that even though they trust their friends and family, they'll still make a different purchase decision.
That's true. We've also seen other data that shows how much gaming has been going on inside of reviews as well. So if people are looking at reviews on there's a whole. I mean, consumers are getting savvier and savvier.
They are savvy. They're listening to all of these pieces and then they're figuring out what's right for them. And so the message to a company is that you don't want to just do this broad-based sweep of trying to grab everybody in your net.
Yep.
figure out what type of person likes your stuff, figure out what type of customer wants to buy your stuff, and talk directly to them.
That's right.
Don't try to talk someone that shouldn't buy your stuff into it. Find someone that likes it. It's Apple versus Android, right? Some people are never going to buy, an iPhone, and that's okay. And the rest of us that are more intelligent and smarter and more beautiful, we'll, no, I'm just kidding, everybody. But no, honestly, there's some things that people really like about Android, that it's open, they can customize it and everything else. And there's some people that really like the fact that iPhone, I can't break it, I can't touch it, I can't, it is what it is.
Yep.
So sell to your strengths.
Consumers see corporate social media campaigns as the same old type of advertising in fancy new media, social media clothes, right? Yeah. So if they see it that way, then there's a reflection on how you're actually treating them.
Yeah, be different.
Yeah. Don't dwell. You don't want to dwell on the negatives here, though. I think you can fix what's broken.
You're right.
By being able to understand the gap between what consumers are actually perceiving of your company and what you're saying.
Hey, and the plus side in all of this, right, is that if you start doing a good job compared to your competitors, you're going to be way ahead.
And on top of that, the referral basis, people trust how other friends and family refer. You start creating that loyalty.
Right,
and it's going to go like brush fire, and the enormity of that value, you just can't measure the loyalty factor. Right. You just can't measure. Hey, if you're listening, if you're just tuning in, this is Edge of the Web Radio. We're talking about building consumer trust inside of social media, and this is not an easy task, and there's no way to directly monetize it except for understanding the longer term value of this. If you have 5 tweets this week, right? Can you tie in we got a sale from that? It's the wrong way of thinking about that. In fact of that, you should not even be looking at the sale as an ROI inside of social media.
Sometimes, yeah.
You really should be looking at
creating that relationship,
creating the relationship, and that's also your customer. A lot of times, your customer relationship focus that's your technical support. They're your front lines of communication of what people are looking for whenever they're dealing with you and other companies.
Hey, look at the bright side of it. Flip these numbers around. So if only 15% of consumers trust posts by companies on social media, that means 85% of consumers think that companies suck on social media, right?
That's a business opportunity, right?
That's a huge opportunity to be the
you suck. Come call us.
The golden goose amongst all of the uglies. Hey.
Yeah, Chad actually took a example from Red Bull. They get a lot of buzz for being a social savvy brand. And the way Chad believes this is very simple, is that they found out what their audience was all about. Extreme, niche sports, art, and music. All the young people stuff.
How about guys like me that are fatter than heck and on Facebook till 2 a.m? Give me a Red Bull.
They targeted sponsoring athletes like Felix Baumgartner and making real contributions to the culture around motorsports, biking, and surfing. Yeah. Well, and they even have their own magazine all about these topics, not about Red Bull. So, make no mistake, for most companies, taking this approach requires a serious shift in culture and thinking. Right?
Yeah.
And if we really want to take control of the potential of social media and in turn be able to be connected to the consumers, you got to focus on delivering tangible value. So there's a few quick points here that Chad lays out. If you think about your audience and social content strategy, keep in mind 4 questions to ask when considering the approach to anything that you do in social. All right. Number 1, how does our customers use the channel, and what do they want out of it? And then we're talking about different social media channels, right? Number 2, what content exists and doesn't exist that is relevant to varying ways our audience leverages that channel? So, for an example, if there's an empty space of information about this inside of Facebook, for example,
take advantage.
Take advantage of it. Number 3, what accessible and valuable methods are available for us to use? What tools are out there for us to be able to reach and connect? One of the tools we interviewed Jeremy Epstein from Sprinkler. Perfect example of a tool to be able to outreach to the social fabric and be able to leverage up particular individuals that are commenting on your brand.
Yep.
What are number 4? What are the business realities that need consideration?
Great question.
Now, these are really good, and they're a bit abstract, but you start getting your mind through those practices, you'll certainly do well.
Well, the Red Bull is a great example, right? Yep. Find your niche, talk to your customer, provide value to them. Yep. And do what's within your ability, right? That's what this guy is saying.
Exactly. At the end of the day, if we're not giving consumers anything valuable, then we haven't really earned their trust, and we're back to the Forrester Research doghouse again.
Yeah.
So special thanks for Chad Warren at Adobe for his great conversation piece. Hey.